Have you ever been at the park and thought, who raised these people? Or where did they come from? I know we have, so we're talking Disney park etiquette this week, plus some wet spaghetti. Let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
Oh yeah, welcome back to another great episode of Bring Back the Magic podcast. I am one of your hosts. I'm Josh.
And I'm his sister, Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a minute of the magic. If you're listening on Spotify, please give us a follow. And on both platforms, we love your comments, so keep them coming. Also, please follow us on social media. We are at BBT Magic Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and we do have a Facebook page also.
Absolutely, and I'd like to remind everybody that this program is rated TV 14, so make sure you have your parents' permission before watching this program if you are under the age of 14. We try to keep it clean here on the Bring Back the Magic podcast, as we always do, and I want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle. What's Theme Park Chuckle, you ask? Well, it's us. And it's your best way to support the podcast. You can get, currently on Theme Park Chuckle, you can get this Kronkled shirt. And if you watched our podcast party, you know what this is. It's an if you know kind of scenario. But just imagine that you've taken Emperor's New Groove and Rapunzel and spun them into something truly awesome, and you made a ride out of it, and you get Kronkled. So make sure you go on there and check that out, guys. In mentioning the podcast party, Gina, what a incredibly fun event that was. I am over the moon with the participation. Thank you to all the people that watched. We had a decent crowd in there. We had a ton of comments, and I think it just went swimmingly, as they say.
Honestly, you and I kept saying from the start, like, if 5 people watch, and they're 5 fun people, then we'll be satisfied. I have to give kudos to you, because you put so much work into the production of it. Like everything was so
Go
much,
on.
Everything was
Tell
so
me
much
more.
fun. The games you came up with, everything on screen. For those who didn't get to see it, it is available for rewatch on our YouTube channel, so please check it out. But it was just an awesome crew of people. I think we picked all the right people for the very first podcast party. They were so fun, so entertaining, so engaging. We went for almost 3.5 hours from start to finish. And especially those who had small children and had to have somebody, take care of them. We had our fun signature cocktails. The games
I
were
drank
just so
a
fun.
darn near a pitcher of whatever that was.
The Podcastle.
Yeah, the Podcastle. I don't know, but I was
But we made some new friends
snoozing.
in there. We had some of our friends who I just met via TikTok doing lives that week. They came in. We had lots of prizes. Thanks again to our sponsors that donated things for our giveaways. It was just it was exactly what we wanted. It felt like a party. It was like we were doing a podcast, but it was like a party. And that's exactly what we wanted. So thank you to everybody. You guys were bringing back the magic.
Well, absolutely, because I feel like throughout that whole thing, the one thing I always said is Disney is an escapism. And you get to go have fun, converse with people, and then you kind of go into your own little dream world.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to me because I just feel like it's the least toxic thing in the world. Like with so much going on, there's all things every day that get us down. Everybody's got bills to pay. They got hardships. They got everything else. But when you're talking about the things you actually love, and like when you're in a scenario like that where everybody's just friendly and they're championing each other and they're celebrating people's wins, it is so refreshing. And I just absolutely love being a part of it.
It was a bubble. It's a bubble.
Oh, it
we
is.
all go in to
100%
be in
it's
the
a
bubble.
bubble.
It's our tent. It's our safe space. It's our, like you said, escape. It was so much fun. And thank you again, because we said without the crowd, without the audience, it would be a little.
It would be us just talking to each other.
But without, we had our guests, and they were the big part of the party, and then the audience. So it really was a recipe that we needed to follow for success, and everybody brought to the potluck. Basically, everybody showed up with the dish.
And it was nice the fact that we debuted a couple different things on there.
Yeah.
One of them being the next podcast party date, which is going to be November 15th after someone's birthday. So the 14th is a big celebration because it's going to be Gina's whatever number birthday, because we won't say that because she's a lady. And we don't need to know these things.
Your birthday.
You're watching her in HD. You know how old she is.
You didn't tell me.
But we're going to be doing that, and we're going to be picking some people. The first time we did the podcast party, we picked people, that we made some connections with early on. And actually, we've gotten a lot of feedback from people that actually want to join in on it. And we've figured a way to make this fair is we're kind of going to randomize who gets on there, so nobody gets hurt feelings, because we do care.
It is so hard to pick. It's hard to pick. It's why I told you I don't like doing those things where it's like tag 10 creators, because I feel like the ones I don't, they're not gonna be mad, but I want to tag so many people, and I can't tag thousands of people in those things. So I do my part of sharing their stuff, and that's how, and we mention them on the broadcast and everything. That's how I like to let people know that we see them and we support them, and engagement is what I like to do. I love those posts. I'm so grateful for the amount of people, but we have a platform that we can use to do that. And so it is hard to pick people. Again, the first crew will always have a special place in our heart.
The reactions alone from everybody that was in there. I mean, I absolutely loved everybody we picked. It couldn't have went better. Yeah. And I just love seeing that genuine Disney joy. It makes you almost tear up, because you're
I can see that. You look a little verklempt. You do look a little teary-eyed.
No, I think it's the lights. I'm like, oh, shut up. Have a heart, lady. God. As Gina looks at herself in one of the other monitors in the studio, she's like, I don't look like that, do I? No, it's nice to have a heart, you heartless woman.
Anyway, no, I think that's very sweet.
No, I feel like we did well by everything. I feel like the next one we can only raise the bar even more.
Right. But one of the things, you're right, randomizing, putting all the people that have expressed interest in there, and letting ChatGPT pick or whatever.
Well, we'll do like a randomizer program, definitely. Right. But one of the things we did mention, and I don't have like a graphic ready, but we do have the new coins, that like cast member appreciation / magic makers appreciation coin that were just released. So this is something you can give to anybody and appreciate them, because one of the things on the back of the coin, it says 3 things make Disney magic: the parks, the characters, and you. Thank you. It's a nice little like 3D kind of castle on there and all, and it's just it sends a message where you can pixie dust anybody and give this to them. Again, these aren't things we're very split about ever selling a coin and doing these things, because I've always given things out to people, and obviously I can't really shoulder a large amount of financial responsibility anymore, because I need to, feed my family. But, they don't eat much. Honestly, my wife is very tiny now.
The idea that this one extends even past the cast members, because a big part of what helps the cast members stay in that magic mode is the way that guests treat them. We talk about that all the time, and that kind of leads into our episode about Disney etiquette anyway, which we'll talk more on that. But if you are somebody who's doing something for a cast member, like, we want to acknowledge that too. If we see somebody doing something really special for a cast member, you are making magic, because that just reiterates the idea to the cast member that they are seen, that what they're doing is valuable. So it's really beyond just the cast members. That's the initial, that was the initial intent. We want that forefront, obviously, but we want people to know also we see you if you're making magic.
Well, that's the thing. It's like sometimes magic is just reactionary. So when you look at things, it's like when somebody's in the park, you see a kid who's just like, the eyes are wide and they're like this, the interaction with the characters, and they have that big hug, and everybody knows about the characters. They're not allowed to let go until the kid lets go, because you know what? Train your kid to have some like staying power. You might be able to stay there all day with your favorite character because they can't let go. But like, I haven't had a break in 3 hours. Well, sorry, that kid wanted to hug you. My bad.
Speaking of Disney
but anyway, so we have those,
and they will be available for sale this time.
Stay tuned. We'll figure out where we're gonna put them. I have to do the fulfillment, all this kind of stuff, so I'm gonna figure out how to do things. But with that being said, Gina, what else do we got? Let's see. There's a favorite segment of ours.
It's been a while. We haven't been in the studio in a couple weeks because we missed a week for podcast party because we had so much prep. And then the following week, we, took a little time off, like personally. And then we're back. But I feel like even the week before that, we had filmed 2 episodes, hadn't we, prior? So it may have been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been in studio, so actually doing stuff.
We're
a little rusty, can you tell?
Grease the wheels.
You know what? Just sit back and enjoy the ride.
I can't believe I remember that whole social media spiel.
Gina's great. Gina's great at all those kind of things. But let's get into Wet Spaghetti.
Speaking of which, at the podcast party, our guests had a lot of awesome wet spaghetti at the podcast party too. I love.
It was brilliant.
That. I love hearing wet spaghetti from other people. You know, we've made posts and about that too. But what I love about it is you get to know a lot about somebody from hearing their wet spaghetti. Like, what are their priorities at the park? What is somebody willing to let go of? Just like our post we did about Mission Space. And there's a handful of people in there that will ride or die for that ride. I'm like, ride and die is more like it. Like, because there's also people in there like, I had to go to the hospital after I rode that, you know?
Who are the people in there so I can unfriend them?
They're people that want to be fighter pilots, apparently, and don't mind closed spaces and riding in a
You know,
space
some people are
casket.
just more like the thrill seeker people that have no aversion
I liked it when
to-
it first came out. I was in that headspace, but it's the claustrophobia more than the motion that bothers me.
It is. You know what? Hats off to them because it's the same people. Like, people love to do like skydiving and like zip lining and things like this. And I said, I prefer not to have something done that I can die.
It's just hard in a year where we lost the Muppets to know that we still have Mission Space.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
So, Gina,
Okay.
what is your
My
wet spaghetti? What have you heard?
spaghetti is something that I now, when I like anything else, I get ready to say it out loud and I think, did I say this? So maybe I did. So maybe this is a warmed up,
Rewind.
reheated, leftover wet spaghetti. I know I've mentioned this, but I don't think I mentioned it in wet spaghetti. But I heard that Disney, after they build this hotel, that Lakeshore Lodge, whatever, that they have another piece of land over probably on the Magic Kingdom side, I think. I'm not sure of the details, where they will be building an Aladdin hotel, all about Agrabah, a complete theming, the characters there, and not to steal an idea.
Tigers walking about.
Not to steal an idea. I'd have to rename it from Royal Caribbean, but their club level will be like a genie level where you will have a really exclusive concierge package that goes with your stay where the genie will make all your wishes come true.
That's fantastic. Golf clap. Yeah, that's
You
pretty
ain't
good.
never had a friend like me.
I like that. What's your wish? I wish to own Walt Disney World. Thanks.
But
Make it
there's
happen,
so
Genie.
many. So comment down below if you like any of our wet spaghettis before Josh says his. If you like our wet spaghettis, we'd love you to expand on them in the comments. Like drop ideas of where you could go with that, because Josh and I are not above making an entire campaign on our social media and or podcast to try and get Disney.
Yeah, currently I've got one running as we're
Same.
recording this right now of trying to get my Underworld one.
Which it should. That's
going.
such a
Yeah,
genius
'cause it's-
idea.
Well, let me tell you what else I've heard. I heard through the grapevine, and probably some other vines as well, that the Wonders of Life Pavilion will be opening back up, but as a futuristic festival center. Okay? It'll be called Wonders of the Future, showcasing and reimagined food items from the future and distant planets. Okay? So take into account maybe something like the Out of This World Crater Tots. Something. So everything would be
Tots, that's
themed
cute.
for there's like space. It's next to Mission Space.
Yeah,
and
I
obviously
think
have,
that fits in
you
well
now have
with
and
that.
you have Cosmic Rewind over there. So you got stuff that's got this interplanetary things, but things that also be just futuristic, things that reimagined.
Yeah.
I think that itself, where you have stuff that appeals to the foodie in people, like saying, let's get out of the box a little bit more, but it uses that space. And I'd said before, it should be a food court of some sort. Is that right? But I feel like if they did that, do it the futuristic festival center, you know, like Wonders of the Future.
Honestly, when you're saying that whole side of what was Future World, they could have left the name Future World. Do you know what I mean? Between like the space travel and Space 220 being kind of futuristic, even Test Track having some nods to what future transportation is, Guardians of the Galaxy. And if they did something, they should have called that, because the neighborhood names, you know, I think are poop. I hate them. I think they're dumb. And they make no sense. Like World Imagination.
It's kinda like
what
it's
fits in there other than
disjointed.
Journey to Imagination? What else is World
Whatever happened to,
Imagination?
and what also happened, remember the original renders where they had the stuff on the roofs and they were like had like, you know, plants and things like that. It would look really cool. And they're like, nope, guess what? We just leveled that all and made it a parking lot.
So
Well, I digress.
I would absolutely order a dish of that spaghetti, because that center is a big freaking waste of space right now. I've said obviously that I think that Cranium Command should be converted to an Inside Out attraction. It's literally built perfectly for it. But I would love that, because Disney does so many festivals. So why not bring a
I mean, if
festival
they're that
center
married,
again?
listen, if they're that married, and obviously with the addition of Space 220, you're really married to this mission space kind of thing in there. And it's probably not going to, sad to say, it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, or maybe get reimagined. Who knows?
Yeah, reimagine. You
But
don't have to
if
take
you
away
go
the space
through-
concept.
But if you go through and say, these are things that are kind of, even like Test Track. I mean, there's things like this. You're riding through more of a futuristic kind of scenario now anyway, and has that callback to like the interventions kind of thing. And I enjoyed it. And I think it's makes for a little more aesthetically pleasing ride. Right. But if you put something in there with Wonders of Life, you know, and you say it's Wonders of the Future, and you have it like a futuristic, I know I'm trailing on about this, but if you have it as a futuristic food court where it has things where people can go in there and you make it a talking point. Yeah. So when people are in there, they're like, oh, did you see this? They just dropped this for whatever this special occasion was. We've got this. But then the branding comes in with different things you can have with like sippers and all these different things, popcorn buckets, whatever it might be.
What I love about that idea, Josh, is that we always talk about when Disney creates an attraction or something and try to make it futuristic, the future catches up.
Yeah.
But with food, you can always go forward and use your creativity, and you're not locking yourself into something.
Who knows in the future if we're starting to eat each other? I mean, you don't know. It's like
it's people.
Gina on a stick. Gina on a stick. See, it's a new special.
It's Feta Gina Alfredo.
Why are yours always better than mine?
I'm sorry, I beat Gina on a stick.
If you knew how much thought went into that, you're welcome for at least giving you like the whole headline on there. God, I could have been selfish. It could have been Josh on a stick, but no, I gave it to you. You know what? No one wants to eat you anyway. All right, so that is your spaghetti. Mamma mia, mamma mia. Yes, and we could say that because we're Italian, so whatever. But let's get into our main topic. Our main topic for this week is Disney park etiquette.
Which I think Josh came back from his last trip
a little heated.
Adamant about us being our next topic.
A lot of people talk about what goes on in the parks and like how people apparently lose their sense of who they are, where they are, or just their common sense in general. And it drives me nuts. Like, and I'm not mean in the parks by any stretch of imagination. But I do murmur. Like when I walk by people afterwards, I give it to myself pretty hard in my head. I'm like this. I'm like, this person. I'm like, or anything. But I'm like, but it's justified. So we've always said back from the time we were kids, we had a 2-word thing we'd say, Disney walk. We're like, there's the Disney walk. Because what would happen is people would walk down the middle of a thing and literally without brake lights, okay, because we can't know this is happening, stop abruptly in front of you.
And we're not talking people that are walking off to the right like they're in a line and near a shoulder. They're directly down the middle of the pathway.
And they stop immediately. And usually the Disney walk is not only the immediate stop, but rapid turnabout. Yeah. So you're almost kissing this person because, again, even as humans, we're not cars. We have a certain amount of space you need to slow down.
What's spaghetti? Disney brake lights.
Yes. That's what I said. We're going to have to stick brake lights on you people that do not know how to walk. So that is point one. Okay. I know we've both experienced it.
For sure.
Like a million times over.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just make this as talking point number one. All right. How much does it bother you that people do this in the park? But they also are unapologetic for that.
1 to 5, and 5 being the worst of 5.
Yeah, it's a 5.
Because it's also dangerous. It's the matter of the people, and I don't know if this is a separate topic, so I don't want to get too much in a different direction, but I feel like it relates, which is people with strollers. But,
we'll get there.
But I feel like it is very easy to get sidetracked, distracted in Disney, and you think, oh, we need to go this way. But you can't do that on a road when you're driving. Like, so what makes you think on a walkway that you know is full of people?
I mean, you're not supposed to.
Right. You could do that. So I think that people just get so wrapped up in what they're doing. And Disney's a lot. We talk about it. People are on their phones. They're looking at the app. They're just very unaware that anyone else exists. And that's not all people. Again, we're not saying all people.
And it's fine to be in your own la la land because you're in your happy place.
But
remember,
think of it like, oh, we need to turn around. Let's pull off to the side and then make our turn because
pump the brakes.
It is dangerous. You can knock somebody over. You can trip somebody. You can bump into somebody. And who knows? And the worst is if somebody's carrying drinks or food or whatever and somebody makes a quick U-ey, and that can be a catastrophe.
Well, I'm glad you said pull over. Okay, so part of Disney park etiquette, and I get that our country may not function the same way as other countries do in the world, and you get this more from it. It's not anything against people that come from other countries. Don't get me wrong.
But our normal habit is stay to the right.
But obviously, like in Asian cultures and stuff, they don't like to wait in line, so they'll just kind of blow by you if you leave a little space they're going to. And I've heard that from stories. People go to Shanghai or Tokyo or one of these kind of things. It's kind of like cultural, and that's fine. It doesn't happen in the States, but it's not just that kind of thing. It's the people that don't realize that they're in the middle of a walkway, an active walkway, and they don't pull to the side to have their conversation. Instead, they set up camp like they're meeting at a Comic-Con, and they're just like, okay, everybody center of the room, we're going to stand here and congregate and make a photo bubble or whatever you want to do. It's not helpful to everybody else trying to get through because you've stopped in the middle. It's just that you can pull to the side and everybody will go around you just fine. Take that time. If you're lost, ask for help, do whatever. But people are like literally just standing there, like, there's people walking behind you.
And it's worse now that people have phones. Because back when we were younger, we coined Disney Walk. Yeah. And that was just people that were so excited about where they were going, and they were just a little bit, out of sorts, and they just weren't paying attention. They were just not conscious of anyone else around, not self-aware. But now that people have phones, they're 1,000 times more distracted. And like you said it, Josh, the big part was they don't care. Like, they're just kind of like, we'll bump right into you, not stop, check. Where's the decency to check on somebody if you knock them down or if you bump into them?
That's cardinal rule. It said, if you're going to make a mistake, apologize. Okay? Right. Don't be the person that shoulder checks somebody and just keeps walking.
Over them with your wheelchair.
It brings back to my point I made somewhere else. I don't know if it was one of the episodes or it was on a live or something else. I said, listen, nobody is gangster in Disney World. Okay? Yeah. Let's just all remember that. And listen carefully. No one is gangster in Disney World. Even in the Great Movie Ride, in the gangster scene, there's no one who's gangster in Disney World. Okay, so if you're going to come in there with your chip on your shoulder, whoever you are, whatever walk of life you are walking, if you're going to go bump into somebody and act like and give them one of these, like look them up and down, like, are you going to start something? Yes, because we're going to start something in Fantasyland. That's where the hardcore...
You see the videos of the people that just... And you figured they would do that anywhere. They would do that at church. They would do that at a funeral.
But you paid, but you paid for the experience. And this is not cheap. You're talking about averaging probably near $150 to get into a park in Orlando. I mean, if you've got that money to burn and throw it away, God bless you. But you know what? It's not the case for most people. Yeah, right? If you want, send me a check. I'll take your money. But it's like... I don't understand that. It's like you paid good money. You want your kids to have a good time. We also want to show our kids that you're good people and everything else. And there's always going to be some not so fun people in the mix. And sometimes people have something going on in their personal life. You might not know about it. But you know what? Figure those things out before you get to the park, and don't take it out on anybody else. Because I get when somebody has a bad day. But if somebody's genuinely being nice, or people that poke fun at people that are just way too happy to be in the Magic Kingdom, and like, we're very happy people. Sometimes people might be even happier than us, and they might irritate us a little bit by their happiness, but it doesn't really happen to me.
I just always assume I irritate people with my happiness.
I just assume that I'm irritating regardless, and I don't apologize.
I'm fine with it. I am fine if my happiness irritates you. I have spent years and decades building my peace and my joy, and I'm not going to.
But you know what? The one thing I'll say about us. If I had to say something, not to pat us on the back, but we will always celebrate other people's happiness.
Oh, for sure.
We will never sit and condemn somebody for feeling good in a place that makes them feel wonderful. So back to this. Nobody's gangster. You're not gangster. Leave your gangster shoes at home. You know what? Nobody cares what set you're repping in the park. I don't care what it is. But the fact is, you don't need to be gruff when you're going through it, because that also breeds more problems. And again, we went back before. It's like the things you do in the park could be affecting someone else's magic. Yeah. Okay?
We're all there with the same goal. Joy,
to have
happiness, fun. Magic. So, like, are you going to go to, like, a monk, monastery and
you're going to go to a monk.
Going gangsta at this monastery because somebody bumped into me. It's
use guys. See, this is what's going to happen now. We're going to do this and that and see. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to leave you out of it.
Right.
But no, I feel like being conscious of people around you is the biggest thing, okay? So when you think about going into the park and you have to wait in lines, there's going to be lines not only for rides, there's going to be lines to get food. Yeah. There's going to be things that break. There's going to be things that get delayed. There's going to be things that get canceled. If you're bad weather,
that's
So Disney tries to handle as much as they can with a certain level of professionalism all the time. They don't honestly they don't try to ruin your time. They're not after that. You know, they care about what you think about the parks. Obviously, they're there because they want a financial win from this. So they want to do stuff to make you happy so they make more money. It's understandable. That's how business works. But people that get mad, like it's like something they could prevent. Like it's saying, there's a horrific thunderstorm and we will not be having illuminations tonight. You're like, well, no crap. Or it's like
just
that
things breaking down.
Yeah, it's like, but somebody gets mad. They're like, well, I paid good money and I won't see fireworks tonight. Well, you know what? Take that up with our creator because he's the one that did that. And I'm pretty sure he's got more clout than anybody.
Right.
So
number 1 was Disney Walk. Number 2 was Don't Be Gangster.
yeah. Leave your gangster shoes at home. So, all right, I'll tell you on scale 1 to 5, how much is the gangster mentality in there? Just like the I don't care for other people and what their fun is. I'm just going to be all about me. That's another 5 for me.
100%. That's me in general life. Like I've always said, even when I was dating somebody who can't back down from like a fight, people that are aggressive like that is such an ick to me. It's like somebody, like if I was dating somebody and I was like, please don't get in a fight. Please don't get in a fight. Like, why is that person's opinion of you, whether you're tough or not, more important than your girlfriend's opinion of you as far as whether I think you're a heel for doing this? It's not about being right. It's like, it's being kind and being right don't always fall in the same column, but I'm always just going to pick being kind. And so in that moment, somebody might have bumped into me and I might feel justified, but it's like, okay, we're going to throw down here in Disney. Did my son deserve that?
Have you seen, like, I've seen more clips in the recent times of people having fights in Disney World. That never happened. All you would have in Disney World is them hiding 1 or 2 deaths or something like that. And they're like, let's sweep this under the rug.
But you know what the problem too is because of the high prices give people entitlement and that they've given themselves. And so the idea is that because you have those dads in their most expensive day ever and they're yelling at their kids about how much money they spent, it's like in their mind that they've spent so much money, so their time is the most important. Guess what? We all spent a lot of money to be there. You wouldn't do that in a country club, right? Somebody bothers you. Why spend a ton of money?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of money to be here.
Nobody told you had to be here. Nobody told. This isn't like your neighborhood where you live. No, even then, you make choices in your life. Some of those choices are going to come with, you know, people around you that maybe you don't like. Okay, so be it. You know, like focus on your own good time.
Well, as we were saying about, let's say, something being canceled due to weather, let's talk about weather issues and what you do and the people around you when there is weather issues. Let's just say you're walking through the park. Okay. And it could be raining, very bad, whatever else is drizzling. But you've elected to bring the world's largest umbrella with you that has what I can only describe as daggers sticking out of the ends of it, that you have no conscious, like, you're not looking where you're going, and these things are hitting kids in the face. They're hitting people as you walk by.
Even worse than you do the Disney walk with an umbrella.
Not even that. Just that is people that'll be like spinning them or something and just like pinwheels of water at people. But also, like I said, it's more, and it's just cascading off the person next to them. So just be conscious of your own personal bubble, because again, you're walking through and you're like clipping people with an umbrella. That happens in sunny days too. Somebody's like, I got my parasol. And you're just smacking people with it or whatever else it might be.
Fun fact about me, I hate umbrellas in general. I don't use them. I could be a torrential downpour and I will have on a raincoat because I just hate the way it obstructs my view. I hate the fact that it's like, it's so bulky and I'm not aware of like how much room I'm taking up, and then somebody bumps it. I worry about the spokes, people's eyes. Like, I hate having to carry something extra. So I've always just preferred an oversized raincoat that kind of almost gives that like little tented effect. I had this awesome Tommy Hilfiger one back in the day, and it got stolen out of my truck when my truck was in an accident, and I took it to the shop, and then my coat magically disappeared out of the back. But anyway, I never use umbrellas, so you don't have to worry about that with me. And someone's like, "Want to get under my umbrella?" I'm like, "Probably not."
I do like the fact, and many of you might not know this, some of you do, and it's become more like, you know, out there with in the Disney parks, is they actually do sell umbrellas the same places they sell the ponchos now. Yeah. So, and it's not bad. I mean, like maybe like they're less than $20 or something like that for like an umbrella, but they're like little black ones that pop up, say Disney Parks on them. They're actually a better deal than the ponchos are because they're a lot easier on and off. Like, so when you go through, you throw on a poncho and you're sweating in that trash bag for whatever amount of time, you're like, oh, I got to take out. Then that's wet. In a poncho, you can't exactly shake it out that well. And it's just far easier to deal with the umbrella. So I opt for the umbrellas. Anytime I'm up there, and I've got a bunch of them, they're all in my truck now on the door sides because I'm like, oh, there's my Disney Parks umbrella anywhere you see me.
No, I don't mind other people using it, but like you said, it all comes down to etiquette. Like, be mindful of your space, be mindful of how much room you're taking up, and just be mindful. I feel like that's going to be the theme of the entire episode.
Well, that's the other thing. Okay, we're talking about the Disney walk. Okay. And that on my level of things with people with the umbrella, it's probably like on a very low level 1, 2 kind of thing. It's just something you probably shouldn't do is like bump into people with an umbrella. But it's not high on my scale of 1 to 5. It's going to be like a 1 or a 2. I'm sure you're probably somewhere in that same range of somebody walking with an umbrella. It's not that big a deal.
I don't have any issue of somebody just walking with an umbrella. People who are like not mindful with their umbrella, it'd probably be like a 1. It's not
it's a non-issue really, but worth mentioning. But the other thing is when you're doing the Disney walk, okay? There's one type of Disney walk. It's the I'm by myself walking. I do the Disney walk. I bump into somebody. The other version of Disney walk I have is not so much to stop, abrupt, and turn. Is it the people that are with their family that want to walk 4 to 6 people wide? I'm going to tell you right here from Josh. Bring back the Magic Podcast. Record it. Watch it. Rewind. Replay. Stop it. Okay? You get 2. You get 2, you get no more. And maybe the occasional mom, dad, little child by the hand. Yeah. Fine, you get 3, and that's for a tiny one. Right. Otherwise, you are 2 and 2, okay? Dad walks with one child in the front, mom walks with the other child in the back, or the kids walk up front together, and the parents are right behind, because there needs to be enough space for people to get through. When you go walk at people, it's just like I get people might be from another country, you drive on the other side, whatever, that's fine, it's interchangeable. But if you're walking, walk on the right-hand side of the path, just like it's a street in the U.S. Okay, you walk up there. When you're walking, blocking both lanes, you are really not doing a service to anyone. And plus, you're going to end up having your kids bumped into. I've seen people, I kid you not, like you said 12 wide, like it was like a family reunion. And they're walking like the wall of China. Like, I mean, it's like the Great Wall. It was just like, boom. And I go, where do they expect people to go? Like they were sweeping the park at close. Like they're like, okay, guys, we gotta go.
Walking that far across when you can't talk to everyone next to you anyway, so it's like you're only going to talk to maximum 3, 1 on each side of you. So it's like, why do you need to walk that?
I'm like, were you guys being introduced for the All-Star game or whatever it is? I'm like, I don't understand where this comes from. They're like, okay, now playing left field. Okay, let's all hold hands. You're gonna bow as it's the end of a Broadway show? No, you're walking. Yeah. So I would say.
It's so funny when you're talking. I keep making lists because obviously we don't do any anything.
Of what other points.
Other points like whoop, that one, that one.
Do you have anything to add to this one, or you want to go?
I agree. I think it's kind of like goes without saying. It's just like the people that and I don't know if this is a separate one, but it's the same way. Like, yes, we understand your whole group wants to stay together, but it's a big part of the reason why we say in our large family group, we think a Disney World vacation is a challenge to keep everyone together. That's why we prefer the Disney cruise if we're doing a big one, because it's way easier. But when you're getting in line, it's like, oh, 2 of you get in line and the other 14 of us will show up and cut to the front. You know what I mean? Or it's like, there's another topic I have here that will relate to
I have something that I'm very nervous to say.
Then don't.
Because, no, I'm nervous to say it because we live in a world of not so much cancel culture, but it's like clipping on the internet of not in context. And I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to let you do it.
It was nice.
This bothers me. Handicapped people. Okay?
Oh, my God.
Listen, just hear me out.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's what I want people to realize, because you say everything can be in context, and it's not handicapped people that buy it. It's the people that can't be respectful of people that are handicapped. So that's what I'm trying to say. It is the people that race through crowds, literally almost bumping into, cutting off. Listen, people that race through crowds, almost bumping into, cutting off wheelchairs. Yes, people that have walkers, canes, almost knocking them over with blatant disregard of somebody that's trying to get through or trying to navigate. I will stop when I see somebody that's in genuine, like an actual wheelchair setup where it's not like recreational wheelchair, like a scooter, where you have somebody that's like, I am not walking in this park. It's 3,000 degrees and I am going to hover around it. And you never know, because I don't ever want to assume, but you can tell somebody obviously it's got some issues and they're trying to get through. And I'm like, I will stop a crowd and I will say, would you like to come through, sir or ma'am? Like, here you go, no problem. But there's people I've seen that almost step on somebody or bump into them, and they're like, oh, what this? It happens whether they're kids, whether they're adults, and it drives me up a wall. It's the same people that, like when I've mentioned before, at the end of a ride, have parked their handicapped grandmother in her wheelchair at the exit. And you're like, what did you expect? This is Gina. I don't know. What did you expect, and where did you expect anybody to go? And you're like, you can't do this. And then the poor person is trying to get out of the way themselves, and you're like, come on now. Can you have a heart? Can you be that way? And please do not, like I said this before, do not clip me and say Josh has something against handicapped people. Not funny. I'm laughing because I know what I meant. But seriously, and that's something that kind of, it irks me the same way like people that don't get up on the we'll get to that, but people that don't give up their seat on Disney transportation.
Yeah, we have a lot of things.
Because they're like, oh, I've got the seat, it's mine.
I do think people not being mindful, it all comes back to mindful, but being mindful and being aware that somebody else's needs may, outweigh your needs in that moment. I feel like that one I would give probably like a 2, 3, 2 as far as it depends on the situation. If it's somebody just not being mindful.
People not being mindful of people that have different needs of them is another 4 to 5 for me.
Okay.
Because
I feel like
I
care less, but I'm
Gina
saying
just cares less about people that have
something I
clip that.
It's not something I encounter enough to make it like this is so high on my annoyance. If it happened, it would be absolutely a fine.
I get that.
Like, on my
so
list
what I need everybody to do is make it more of a problem so Gina can actually acknowledge it.
But I do feel like that leads in very well to a topic of people who have ECVs or people who have strollers. And literally have no concept. I am sorry, because I know a lot of people and some of our listeners have this double wide stroller. I give you credit that you can push that monstrosity around. Our sisters had to have one. And I get it seems easier. And again, a lot of people have them. My issue is not people that have to have them. It's people that have no concept how to manipulate them. And I get they're a challenge. I get they are. But it is like the doors getting through there. They are in a race to get somewhere. Because people that have an urgency of getting somewhere in a stroller are not noticing because they're not good at knowing their blind spots of where they're clipping somebody. How many times you've been in line and somebody forgets how far out their stroller is, or they get a little distracted and they tap you, or they hit your heels, or God forbid, somebody stops but where they're supposed to stop and the person with the stroller isn't looking and they, tap your bumper basically. But the big one for me was, this is a personal story.
Or the people that allow their children to push a stroller in a crowded park in like Fantasyland, and the kids bumping into people and like, oh, that's I'm like,
this is a personal story for me. Is we were in Animal Kingdom and we were on the Gorilla Falls exploration trail, and it was near the very beginning of the trail. We were kind of like under a little enclosed section, and there's some like little monkeys and stuff. And so our dad was holding my son, and he was probably 9 months old at the time. And so my dad was holding him, and he was looking at the monkeys. Everybody was gathered around. And just went to turn, like he was standing, we were supposed to be standing, went to turn to walk. And this lady came clipping back. Now, there was tons of room that she could have gone with her stroller towards the back where no one's standing. And she just came by to where he started to fall because she cut off his walk space. You know what I mean? So he's coming and she comes and it's like he doesn't even have space, and he had my baby in his arms, and so these other people around kind of grabbed him. But that's the thing, is it's like, how does somebody who's pushing a stroller not even be mindful of other people around you, but especially other people holding babies? It's like someone's holding a baby and you're like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna cut through here because this is quicker, and not thinking when this person goes to turn and move, you've cut off their pathway, and they're like,
that's also a part to bring up, is the fact that people that rush through the parks.
Yeah.
So it's saying again, rope droppers, everything else, and people will be like, here, walk them around. Like, again, you're gonna get there. Everybody's gonna experience stuff. You're just gonna experience it with the 10-minute less wait. So it's not running through trampling somebody, or just like people are trying to catch up, and they just run through something, or people that walk through the queue lines and just push past people, don't say excuse me. They're like, oh, I got to get to my group. But you're like, okay, well, you can at least politely say you have to get through. It's not like, like this.
Well, excuse me.
Or people and the same thing in the queue lines is people that cut off somebody's group because they think they're going to wait for 30 seconds less. But if there's a group of 8 people walking this, you can plainly see everybody's together. They're wearing matching T-shirts. Okay, shut up, Marc and Stacey. But it's like they're wearing the same shirt, and then you have somebody coming from another direction and butt in between their party, and then then they're standing there in line like, what? And they want you to let them go to the front when they're like 2 people from the back, 2 people they cut off. So like you got 6 people, them, then 2, and they're like, oh, we should go past the other 6. You're like, no. I'd be like, listen, I'll go back there and be like, here, I need you to wait here. And these 2 are going to come, and I'm going to also need you to work on how you do things in this park. Yeah. I'm going to give you a little pamphlet here that you can read to learn how to be a better human being.
If you have an ECV, it doesn't mean that you're stronger, so you should get through, and just be mindful. No. Use road.
Well, people use it as a battering ram. There was a shirt I had for a while. I took it down. I might do a more updated one. And shout out, don't anybody take this before I put it up. You know me, before this episode is, the shirt will probably be up there. But it just had a shirt that said, protect your heels. And it had a bloody wheeled stroller on the front of it. It just had bloody wheels. It just says protect your heels, because that is a true Disney thing. Like the old school strollers. Let's talk about the old metal and blue ones they had, where it's like you could shuck
a shopping cart,
like the complete bottom off your foot. If you got hit by one of these things, like you were just, there wasn't enough Band-Aids in the world to save your Disney day for how much you would bleed out from that thing. And you could probably cut somebody's like Achilles with it. I mean, there was
god awful.
They were so bad,
and they were so uncomfortable.
I remember being in one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, this is
were
throwbacks.
like a little shopping cart.
They were awful. But again, it's like,
even the new ones though aren't that comfortable either. Like if you have like a bigger kid, they can't really lay down in it.
And I feel like things like that don't really span the test, or don't have a long lifespan. Yeah. Okay, they don't have a long lifespan because if you look at it, like it's kind of like shopping carts. You never go to a brand new Target or something, and you have a cart. You're like, "Ooh, this is smooth gliding," and then you come back like a week and a half later, and the cart you're like, because it's already all jacked up from people slamming them into each other or whatever. But the same thing at Disney parks. I mean, they have that kind of stuff with strollers. Right. But I digress. Another thing. What's another topic as far as
note of children? One of my big things etiquette wise, and it's really a humanity type of thing.
Please tell me you're saying the same thing.
The only thing worse than a child who's having a tantrum, okay? The only thing worse, nobody likes watching that. Some kids, they may be crying about something really valid in their world. Some kids just might be brats. We don't know. Is a parent that is humiliating their child in the middle. It could get me emotional. It makes me so upset. Children are people too, okay? I always say that. It sounds stupid, but it's true. Children are people too. So when an adult is exhausted in Disney, because Disney's a lot, an adult is exhausted. An adult at least has the control over where the day goes, but they're frustrated at the line. They're frustrated at the weather. They're frustrated because they're hungry. They're tired.
But don't take it out on your kid in the middle of the park.
And then when a child dare complain and is like, I'm hot, I'm tired, and the parents that are yelling at their kids for like, I spent this much money. You should be having a good time. It breaks my heart.
And then the kid's like, money doesn't buy happiness,
But
Pops.
all the kid wants to do maybe is go play in the fountains, or all the kid wants to do, and that's one of my big Disney tips I always say, if you have a small child and they're having fun, why would you walk away from that to go put them in a line for 30 minutes and be like, why are you cranky? Or kids that are used to having naps. My son, if he napped, I didn't care what plans we had. He fell asleep with that stroller, let him sleep. I always say that's my other tip. If your small children fall asleep, let them sleep.
And parents know how much of a gift it is when your kid falls asleep.
Right. Take a walk around World Showcase.
You're like, you know what? Yeah. It's nice. Let them rest.
Right. But I hate that.
But some people are like, no, if I let him rest, this kid's going to wake up with more energy and I'm going to have more to do.
It's such poor life etiquette, but it's also poor Disney etiquette because you're ruining the vibe by screaming. If you have to talk to your child, you could pull them aside somewhere quietly, but just think like what that is creating. And it's also scary for other kids to watch somebody get screamed at.
I thought you were going to go a different direction, which just adds into the same thing. Because when you said children and I go like this, I'm like, all right. I have one on Disney etiquette. Parents, all right? We all should be responsible for what our kid does, okay? Mainly when you're in a public eating area. So it is not Disney's job to go and pick up after your child because it threw every bit of food, every single place in that restaurant or whatever else. I've seen stuff where I've actually been to a buffet. I think it was at Crystal Palace. And I looked under this chair and it was like because the mom was just giving this kid food and he wasn't even eating it. He was just throwing it on the floor behind him. And everything. I'm like, there was the table, Gina, it looked like the apocalypse.
All the women in our family have always picked up underneath of our kids.
It looked like the apocalypse had just happened, and this was all that was left is eggs and cereal, and they're just strewn about. Yeah. It was so sad, because I'm like watching, I'm like, these people have to go and do this, and these people work hard for their money, but it's like, you're going to make somebody have to clean all this up because you weren't even paying attention, and they weren't literally watching.
It's just a respect
Kid could have choked, whatever else.
And you're also, what are you teaching your kids as far as manners?
But clean up.
Now,
up after yourself.
I know there are exceptions, like there are some kids that have issues and whatnot, but that doesn't preclude the parent from cleaning up from the child afterwards.
Well, that's the thing. Like, another thing goes into that whole thing you were talking about, embarrassing children in public or whatever, and personal matters should be discussed in private. So if you're going to go out there and air your dirty laundry in front of everybody, and I'm like, no, I want to have this conversation now. Pull this aside, find somewhere quiet, and you can have a conversation with somebody. But nobody wants to hear, and I'm sorry if you're having an issue with your child. I'm sorry if you're having an issue with your spouse or just a friend of yours in the park. We don't need to hear what they did the night before and how they embarrassed
it's kind of
you because you're embarrassing them now.
They call cast members because they're supposed to feel like they're on stage.
Yeah.
It's like you almost wish the guests would keep that same thing in mind. Like if you wouldn't put this out and walk on stage doing this, like you're also on stage because you are. You may not care about the other adult guests, but at least care about the other kids that are there. That also goes with language. Like, yes, you are all adults, you are loud, but just mind your volume. Because if there are little kids around and you're spouting curse words because you're drunk in Epcot, that's not cool.
That's what I was going to... Profanity's
a
a big one. Profanity's a big one. That ranks up more towards the five for me.
That's
because
a 5 for me.
That's why, and guys,
we're not talking hell and damn.
Listen,
you know what words we're talking about.
TV 14, by the way. But listen, I will tell you this: when you're going through, and that's why with food and wine, I always tell people I don't go on the weekends and food and wine because no disrespect to locals. A lot of our friends are locals. A lot of people are just great people in general. But that weekend crowd tends to bring in the people who are like, okay, I got the weekend off. I'm going to go experience food and wine. I'm going to go get trashed, eat some food, and then I'm going to go around and just scream obscenities and things. And I've heard it. I've heard people like, oh yeah, this, but we're doing that. I'm like, I heard somebody, it was a group of people, and like, we're getting effed up and all this kind of stuff, and like yelling with children in strollers next to them. I'm like, guys. And I said something, and I was like, you guys realize there's kids around, right? I said, have a good time, Josh, enjoy yourself.
Why Mexico is not my favorite. I love the Mexico Pavilion, but it's a big reason why when we were talking, what's your favorite country in World Showcase? And I said France, not Mexico, is because tequila can bring out a lot of ugly in people. And when people are going there and they're doing tequila shots and whatever, not everybody can hold that. And it does bring out a different type of personality for some people. Not everybody, but some people. So it's kind of like if I'm going with my small child, Mexico, like I'm not going to go near La Cava and things like that, but now they have the outside one. There's a lot of places to get tequila. Obviously, it's Mexico Pavilion, but that's another one. But I have seen a lot of people that come in there and it feels like senior week. It feels like, and again, we were younger, we were having fun. But
no, you have a great time, but you don't need to be ignorant about it.
It's not about ruining the fun. But if you're not
like, I'm going to get my drink and I'm going to go watch Starship.
Dropping F-bombs in front of kids or inappropriate adult talk about things, like that's even worse, I think, than a bad word. Like when people are talking like explicit situations and inappropriate kind of stuff. I just don't like that, because I get that Disney, as much as Disney adults get flack, people say Disney's for kids. We understand. Epcot especially, I think, is the most adult-oriented park because of the attractions, because of World Showcase and the drinking around the world. We get that. But anywhere I go, I just think it's classier to just be a little bit mindful of like the way you speak loudly. Speak how you want on your own. If a little kid's walking up and you're just having a normal conversation, like that's your business. But when people are loud, we are loud people, but we're not loud screaming obscenities or inappropriate things in Disney World of all places. I'd like to think those people could handle themselves in church, so it's not that hard to like kind of like know your space.
Well, that goes on when you talk about being loud, and it's like, I would say like the over opinion sharing and all that stuff, like where it's saying, oh, this is trash and this is this, because again, you're ruining somebody's first time experience.
Which we've always had to remind ourselves.
Yeah, and like sometimes you're like, oh, this is bad. Like, you know what?
This could be ourselves, like we haven't made any mistakes.
This could be somebody's first time. Everything else, there's another thing, like when it comes to the kids or just people in general, blocking areas that are in use. So it's like I've seen kids sitting on stairs that are like meant to come out of something, and they're like kind of like don't barely move out of the way, and you're like, you can't sit where somebody needs to get and access in and out of. It's like have more sense in that. But I think one of the top things that I can say from a Disney etiquette standpoint is treating cast members with respect and not treating them awful like they owe you something. And they're people, they're good people. There's a lot, there could be they always say there could be one bad apple here and there, but here's the deal. They are people, and they deserve the same respect you believe you should return, or should receive rather. You should be given to them. And you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, and it's a true statement. The worse you're going to treat somebody, the less it's going to happen for you, I guarantee it, because there's only so much that cast members can do for you, but there's a lot of things they can just not do at all because you're being a complete jerk. And the Disney experience hinges upon the people that work for Disney and the environment they're in. So treat them kindly. I'm like, I've never gone up and randomly just start tearing into somebody, even if I've had a bad experience. I've never gone up like, this is uncalled for, and I want your name, and I want this. Like, I've known people even close to us had to say they've gone and said stuff to like cast members and things, and I've had to correct them on it. And I'm like, this is not how you act. But I don't think there's a place for it. I'm like, if somebody claps back at you and says something ignorant, if a cast member came to you and said something ignorant to set you off, the thing is saying, I just need to talk to somebody that's in charge of you. Yeah. And say it with respect. Say, who can I go through? Go to guest relations, lodge a complaint if you really have something. But do not sit there and berate a cast member for something that's especially out of their control. Mm-hmm. Okay? I feel like you have a fan on over there.
I do, but then I was like, I think it's going to be loud.
Yeah, it's loud.
But I'm having a major hot flash.
Yeah, so we're almost through this episode.
I have a couple, though, that I don't want to miss out on. Like, I definitely want to hit. But I agree with you. Disrespect. You are paying for a Disney experience, but you do not own anybody who works there. You do not need to demand. And a lot of times the people that are disrespectful for cast members are the people that are just doing what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. They're mad they didn't get pixie dusted. They're mad, like the guy in the video recently where the guy was mad they wouldn't run the carousel again or let his kid on. They're like, this was open all day. Like, I didn't know where the entrance was. Okay, you didn't know where the entrance was 5 seconds before they ran the ride, but this was open all day. Like, if they make an exception for you, like, you don't own these people. You don't own Disney. You didn't buy stock. I own stock, and I still don't think that. But anyway, it's only one share. But thank you. Here's something I want to talk about on that note. Ruining the magic. Okay, obviously being disrespectful to people. All these things can contribute to ruining the magic. This is something we can all tend to be guilty of, but I'm going to say it goes under the terms of etiquette. Mm-hmm. When you are there, imagine everyone around you is on that attraction for the first time. And therefore, do not ruin the magic by telling them what's getting ready to happen, by speaking the entire spiel of everything. One of the big ones I feel like are like reveals. Yes, we know you've done it. The reveals. So like if you're in a specific attraction and we all know in, let's say Tower of Terror, where that wall is going to open, it's going to be a door, or where in Haunted Mansion, the door is going to open, and people go and stand there and like, wait, like I'm so cool, I know it's going to be. You've ruined an illusion for someone who's doing that the very first time. This chamber has no windows, no doors. Oh, I'm going to stand over here where I know the door is going to open. You may think everybody in there knows it, but
why do I feel targeted for where I stand in rides right now?
But I'm just saying.
Listen, I stand there now and say, I know where the door is. I said, no, I want to get out of this room full of people quicker than everybody else.
I understand, but you're just getting to the next level.
By the way, Haunted Mansion, when you go left, go right. If you go right, go left.
Right, but I'm saying that same thing. Like, I get it. We all know in Guardians right now, when we get to that last pre-show, everybody races over to that door, and you're still just in
which
another
is really
line.
Just, it's a herd of people. You're still going to be waiting.
I actually like to wait and go last because I'm like, good, let them all flood
because I want to be around that many sweaty people in a clump.
But I'm saying, don't ruin the magic. Don't make a comment about what's going to happen in Channel and Tales with Belle.
Please, as a side note, Cosmic Rewind. It is... Yes, we've all ridden it a bunch of times, but there is going to be people on there that are riding it for the first time. During the pre-show, get off your phone. When the thing goes dark and then all somebody sees is your glowing phone and you ruining illusions and stuff because you can't get off your phone for 5 seconds.
Mansion, when people have like lights and stuff. Like I said, we did it inadvertently with the light sticks, not knowing in the ballroom scene that was going to kind of ruin the illusion a little. Yeah. But that's just the thing. Just remember there are people around you. This is their very first time. So just like, it's not winning you anything by being like, I knew the whole spiel and I knew this and yelling things out. Like, I get people want to do that.
So what Gina's talking about is me walking into Haunted Mansion and saying the entire thing, but I don't say it. I mouth it the entire time because I'm like, this chamber has no windows and no doors. When it comes
to reveals, when it comes to moments, don't sit on it. Don't get on It's a Small World.
Ever. Don't get on it. Okay, I'm with you. Do not get on the ride at all.
I love it. If you hate the song, don't get on the ride.
No, you can stop there.
It's that simple. Don't get on the
ride.
Gina,
I will clip this.
Don't talk about how creepy it is while you're on. Don't get on it. That's fine. Anyway, that was one of the things.
Now I feel like me and my child are targeted.
No, I'm saying people on it. Nobody's sitting on the boat in our family and going off.
Here's the deal. I might not like certain rides, but when I'm on any ride in Disney, I'm just happy to be in Disney and be on a ride.
No, I'm not
it doesn't matter. And I've actually gone to Disney and gotten on nothing and had the time of my life.
Right. My other one I was going to say, because I know we are like closing in, because I have my timer written down, but is when you're going to eat at a quick service. Disney has made every menu available on the phone that you could look a little in advance, okay? Take a peek. Stand back, but to get up in line...
What comes with that?
All right, 75 people in line. Okay, what can I... And they just look like they just
Can I trade the chips that it comes with a cheeseburger?
You're not saving... You don't have to do mobile order. You don't have to. We highly recommend mobile order to everybody, but...
Now, instead of the apple slices, can I get the filet mignon?
Here's why mobile order is also so valuable. Go have somebody in your family, you order your stuff, and then you already know, you guys sit here, and then I'm going to go pick up the food and come right back. It's not a matter of somebody's trying to hold a table for 30 minutes where nobody's sitting there and everybody in Harbor House is like, hey, you've been holding that table for so long, whatever. But just take a peek at that menu. When you're thinking where you're going to go that day, that morning, maybe the night before, say, hey, we're going to
You do realize most of those places hand you like a actual like boarded menu or something. Say, here, you want to check out the selections because they're hoping you won't do that.
So when you get up there and you're holding up the entire line by not having a clue what you want to get, that's just, again, these are not trying to hate on anybody.
This is not just etiquette. It's tips and tricks, guys.
But
know what you want. It'll go quicker.
Etiquette is something that is becoming a lost art, manners, things like that. Also, this is my big one. I got to say this one. Who, TV14, the hell are you people that are littering in Disney World? If there is somebody I would like to get permit.
I had that on here too.
You see the videos of people that are just like, oh, I guess I'll just leave my cup. There are trash cans everywhere. Walt mapped it out. How
it's like
far
30,
trash cans
it's like
be.
every 30
steps or something. And if a trash can is full, walk to another one. But people that are leaving, when I'm in a line and I think, who just left their cup? First of all, there's trash cans in the queues. You just left your cup there on the ground.
I've seen a dirty diaper. Somebody just left somewhere. I'm like,
you're ruining it for the rest of us.
What?
You're ruining it. Why are you doing that? You complain, and then somebody's going to walk through and go, I paid this much, and there's somebody, oh, well, they have janitors. I don't care. We have friends that are custodians at Disney, and we have friends whose family members are custodian. Keeping it nice and emptying trash cans, yes. But picking up your trash because your ass was too lazy to go to a trash can, it gets me fired up. I think it's so
I feel like you're on one today. Like you're just angry, not just fun-loving and happy, giggly, Gina.
Etiquette is
well, get out of it.
It's manners.
No, it's right. You're right to be upset because it should be something that makes people angry.
They're ruining it for the rest of us. And we got to walk by and see trash when we're in line, and we're taking somebody there for the first time, or our kid, and our kid's gonna look and be like, "Oh, this looks like a dump," you know.
Well, you know, it's okay. Listen, here's another thing.
Always trash lining.
Here's another one. It's saying accidents happen. Okay, so if you drop something, you drop an ice cream, you drop this kind of stuff, you have chocolate. Yes, just go up and tell somebody, because first of all, if it's in its place, nobody sees it, and somebody comes and sits, and you're like, oh, I just sat in chocolate, I just did this. Or people that still, first of all, people still chew gum. I don't get it. But they put it on stuff. Like, I've never in my mind, even when I was a kid and I chewed gum, I never just stuck it somewhere.
Getting fired up.
You're like, that's what I'm just saying. Who sticks gum any place? Like, here's under a table. Who started this? What?
Leave it there for the next person. Oh,
what psychopath goes... Like, were you going to save it?
It's the lightest thing. It's so easy.
I've seen a piece of gum stuck to a trash can. You're like, it's the most asinine thing you've ever seen. You're like, you could have literally went around the corner into the opening of the trash can, dropped it in. But no, I'll stick it to the top of it because I'm awesome.
Lead with manners, people.
Listen,
that's really the point of
I will tell you this. No,
you wouldn't want someone doing it in your home. Don't do it in Disney World, okay? Because that's a home away from home for all of us. Be mindful. Be respectful.
You want something to be nice, treat it nice, okay? And that's what I said. Like, Disney goes a pretty far way to make sure they're repainting things. They're going trimming like trees. They're doing all this stuff to make it look. Yeah. Right? Thanks, Gina. Stick that gum over there. Again, I'm sorry. Maybe it's my aversion to.
I don't chew gum anymore either.
I don't chew it anyway. It's not good for your stomach to begin with.
It's not good. You're swallowing excessive air.
Well, here's a little side thing for you guys. Chewing gum is actually not good for you because your stomach prepares itself for something to come down to eat, and the acids stir up, and it's not good because you never give it anything. It's just constantly chewing. So that's actually not a good thing.
Gum is the lie that your mouth tells your stomach. That's from Kimmy Schmidt. I love what Titus says that. Gum is the lie that your mouth
what I will say, we ran through a bunch of different things. I mean, we haven't covered all of it, but this is probably the bigger topics.
We want to hear yours. Tell us. Tell us in the comments.
Tell us if you have something that aggravates you that people do in Disney, because a lot of these things can be prevented very easily. And if you prepare yourself for your trip, you know, it makes your trip go a lot smoother when you don't do things like this. You know, not everybody's going to be nice people, first of all. Not everybody's going to be having the best time. Some people are not there because they want to be there begrudgingly there. Might be a spouse that said, wife and kids wanted to come to, let's say it's the dad. We'll just use him as an example. Wanted to come to Disney World. I got to pay for this, blah, blah, but it's not my thing. Go around, have fun. I'm going to sit over here on a bench.
Yeah.
Remember, your time with your kids is fleeting. So you may not enjoy exactly what your kids enjoy, but do not take it away from them, the things that bring them joy, and do not participate because you're going to regret it later. Those memories will last a lifetime, and regret lasts a lifetime. So you want to make sure you're doing things with your kids, your spouse, whatever else is friends of yours. don't miss out on a good time because you want to be kind of like a stick in the mud about stuff. Nobody's asking you to do dental surgery. Yeah. Everybody's asking you just to have a fun time and kind of let your imagination run wild. But that's something I would encourage people.
I think an important part of why this episode is so valuable. You know, Josh and I always say we don't want it to sound like we're trashing Disney. We're not.
No, it's the people that go there.
But this is what I was going to say. But this is what I was going to say. This is a perfect example. Everything that we've said, if all those things happened on somebody's first Disney vacation, imagine what their impression would be of Disney, and Disney has nothing to do with it. If they were like, oh, people were cursing, people were knocking me over with their stroller, people were drunk everywhere and unruly, people didn't know what they wanted in line and it took forever, there was trash everywhere. Like, you guys, like all of us, you guys.
Yeah, don't get gangster with
it. All of us are responsible for the magic, as we keep saying, but those are contributing factors to somebody else's experience. Yeah. And these are not asking you to go out of the way. We're out of the way for anything. These are just normal human decency things. Pick up your trash.
You know what I want to see?
Like, be kind to people.
You know what I love to see in Disney is just people smiling and having fun. I love it from the kid experiencing Disney for the first time, smiling wide-eyed with their family going, Dad, did you see this? Or how excited they get with characters. To the older couples that are holding hands, that have been together 60 years, that are walking down. What is it, like the one Instagram? It's like Forever Young at Disney or something like that. There's an older couple that does that. And I love their little.
Them.
They're so their content's adorable.
And adorable.
And I love the fact they have massive following because you know what? It restores your faith in humanity. Especially for us older people, it maybe can get following. Just kidding. Right. So I love watching them walk around the parks with each other. I love people just in that moment of happiness, and they're just experiencing the moment. So that's something you can't explain unless you're there. Right. And people don't get it. Like, why do you go to Disney? I'm like, you know what? Have you been? Then you don't get it. You know, maybe it's like you deny your inner child. You deny the happiness part of your life.
Or somebody you know went and this was their take on it because these are all the things.
Trust me, I've had people I know that still like Disney. I had somebody that went there that said a bunch of stuff about this with this, and people were too happy and all this stuff.
Happy.
Yeah. And I'm like, but later on they realized it and they're like, you know what, I was wrong. This was, it's a nice, you're like, I don't like, have a Disney, this is Disney and how can I help you? And all. But they're like, you want to be in a good,
Kindness can be jarring for some people.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's go through. Gina, do we have any shout outs this week?
Yes, we do. Okay. That's why I was actually just looking on my phone because I don't want to miss.
All right, hold on. It's time for shout out. Shout it out.
I do want to give another just direct and individual shout out to everyone that was part of this podcast party from the time before it even started.
Well, run down our panelists.
I am. So first I want to say thank you to Rob and Theresa. More magic, absolutely. Please. We love them. They're like of the handful of people we've actually met in person. We love their content. Please give them a follow both on TikTok and Instagram.
They're wonderful.
We want to give a shout out to Rachael McHugh Magic, because she is the other one that we had met in person.
She's darling. We love her.
She's so sweet. All these people, please, Josh will tag them, give them a follow. Also on our social media, any posts we did about Podcast Party, you can see them. We want to give a shout out to Marc and Stacey from We Wear Matching Shirts. Absolutely love them. Look forward to our next trip meeting up with them. Kallie in the Kingdom. Kallie was on board from day one. We talk pretty much every single day. She's awesome. She does her 5-minute videos. So follow her on TikTok, Instagram, and
make sure
YouTube.
You subscribe to her YouTube.
Yes, her YouTube. That's what I'm saying. But then I also want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. That's why I pulled up my phone because I don't want to miss any of them.
Let's say just to all of our sponsors. That's enough. See you guys later.
I want to say them by name. Okay, so we had Operation Magic Podcast, Signs of Amusement, Caballeros Creations, YR Designs, World's Edge Travel, Yoho Daddio, and Main Street Collective, who have the Disney Dadcast. Please check that out. Disney Magic Every Day, Park Hop Sticker Company, mainly at Disney, Theme Park Chuckle, of course. I want to thank Josh again, because again, without him, none of this would have been possible.
Oh, that's true.
I cannot be a one-woman show unless it's on Instagram stories, and the content would be very light on the technology. I'd be relying on Henry and Gemini. But I just want to thank our audience again. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Gina,
who makes everything possible through her love of Disney and our socials and keeping us engaged with everyone.
Thank you guys. But you mean so much to us. We see each and every one of you. It is hard, we all know, in the social media world, especially when you're following more than 100 people even, it's hard to see everybody's stuff every day. So just know when we see it, we will always engage with it. If you haven't seen us engaging, come drop some love on our page, because chances are I'm going to come right back and drop it on yours, because it's just another reminder.
Gina's going to do some droppings.
Yeah. But thank you to all of you. You made magic. We look forward to it again on November 15th.
Oh, that's great. Well, also, if you're watching this and you're watching on YouTube, make sure you are liking the video, subscribing, hitting the notification bell on YouTube so you can be aware of new episode drops and when we go live. As we said before, we're going to have November 15th, 2025 is going to be the next podcast party live on YouTube and with your chance to win many, many prizes. So make sure you look out for that. Gina, tell them where they can find us.
Okay, you can, if you're here right now listening to this, you're either listening to it on Spotify, so give us a follow, or you're watching it on YouTube, so please subscribe. As Josh mentioned, like these episodes if you like them. If you don't, like them also. Please comment. We love your comments. We love hearing feedback. That's the tough thing about pre-recording is we don't get that immediate audience interaction, so we do like to go back and hear what you thought. Also follow us on social media, please. Instagram and TikTok. We are at BBT Magic Podcast. And we do also have a Facebook page. And never hesitate to drop us a DM if you ever want to talk to us directly. We do listen and we do respond.
Well, that's wonderful.
New episodes every Thursday at noon.
I was just going to say that. You know what? I got nothing now. You know what? Have a little magic sound. But thank you guys for watching another episode of, or listening to, if you're on Spotify, of Bring Back the Magic podcast. Thank you for joining us. Please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.